What's going on, everybody? Chris Rex and Sola Scriptura. I want to make a quick video because I'm listening to this Attorney General running for Georgia, and I really like his comments and what he's saying in regards to his opposition, and how his opposition is pretty much like a dereliction of duty and refuses to uphold the laws and this and that. Because in Georgia, if you're not familiar with, the heartbeat bill was just upheld in court as so obviously, because abortion, infant murder, I'm gonna say say how it is. Infant murder is a hot button topic in this country, even though it's completely asinine. It reminded me because also the real governor of Georgia, Stacey Abrams, as she's been touting herself around for the last couple of years or so, however long, is she was on a popular radio show here in Atlanta just last night, and she was talking, and she made mention of that, hey, I'm a Christian, and so I believe this and but yes, she supports abortion, like the crooked Senator Raphael Warnock. So she upholds and she believes in abortion. They actually call it a medical issue. It's not. There are no medical issues in this country, or any medical issue, period, in the practice, in hospitals, etc., that 100% guarantee a death. Think about that. There are no medical issues ever in human history that 100% guarantees the ending of a life. What life is being ended, you ask me? Wow, I'm glad you asked. The life of the child in the womb. This is the crazy thing that a lot of people have spoken to. A lot of my brothers have heard, myself, when we're out there, we're protesting at these feminist centers, is it's a clump of cells. Okay? You know, let's go with that. If it's a clump of cells, what are those cells from? And also, are those cells bad or good? Ask these questions. Because people, this is the thing in common arguments, is people just want to say something just so completely off the wall or whatever, and just expect the second party to believe it and take it at face value and never question them. But of course, the most powerful question in in English language, in any language you can ever ask, is why. So if you ask the question why, or even what is, or anything like that, you formulate these questions in a way to dig deeper into the person's psyche, into their line of thinking. If it's a clump of cells, just a clump of cells, what are those cells from? Are those the cells of an elephant? Are those the cells of a pig? Are those the cells from, cells of a vulture? The cells of a shrimp or a toad? Are these the cells of a human being? Now, after that, you must also ask, are these cells good or bad? Are they cancerous? Are these cells, like this child will be born, because they don't want to admit that it's a child, even though Planned Parenthood already admitted that in a tweet about some celebrity lost a child and said that still lost a child, and that child is a boy. Planned Parenthood admitted this in a tweet. John Legend, that's his name, a few years ago. Yeah, his wife had a miscarriage. So there's that. This is cognitive dissonance. So so are these cells bad or good? You already asked, what are these cells? Is it animal? Is it from a plant? Is it from a fungus? Is it from, what are these cells from? Insect? And then also, are these cells cancerous? Is this child gonna be born with birth problems, birth defects, Down syndrome? Like, people like to just off a child because the child's gonna be born, with all these defects, and so let's just take him out of his misery for lives a life of misery and blah 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 blah, or the child, the parents, the deadbeat parents, both deadbeat dad and mother, because the mother, not only is the dad opting out of fatherhood, but the mother is also opting out of fatherhood. Deadbeat mother needs to be circulated. That's a term that needs to be circulated in this country. That's another story. That's just me going off on a tangent. But also is with all of this going on, you got to identify those cells and identify the state of those cells. And people like to stand behind, okay, well, that child's gonna be born into poverty. Well, that kind of sounds like a personal problem. I mean, just to be honest, if the parents are too poor to support a child, then, and like this one meme I remember, a woman's right to choose should not have to come down to the courtroom. It should come down to the bedroom. If she's not choosing, because women are the gatekeepers of the bedroom, of sexual intercourse. So if she just merely chooses, I'm not going to have sex. Because a lot of people like to say, it's a medical issue. How many, so you're going to try and sell me all the 72 million abortions, infant murders, ever in the course of the last 50 years, 49, Roe v. Wade, every single one has been a medical issue? Stop the cap. Don't come at me with that foolishness. Not all of them have been medical issues. A very small percentage. Not all of them have been victims of rape. A very small percentage. Not all have been a victim of incest. A very small percentage. Stop the cap. These people, like many I've seen, in the case of a family member I know had two, was not a medical issue. Another woman who proudly touted that she had like 23. I pray to the Almighty that is not true. But she laid claim to have had 23. Others, shout your abortion. The woman on the Michelle, what's her name, at the Golden Globes a few years back, she did it because it would have ruined her career. That don't sound like a medical issue to me. Jamel Hill, former Sports Center anchor on ESPN, just recently came out like a week ago or so. She had an abortion because the same thing. It would have ruined her career. Wow. So that's just two people. That's two women right there. And just think how many more women have the same idea. Probably mostly like in Hollywood, they're doing that. Pro athletes, et cetera, et cetera. College athletes, they're going through this medical procedure because it will ruin their careers. You got to imagine that number is growing. That number is growing by the day. That excuse is being pushed, is being used every day. And unfortunately, see, this country, this society wants to come down so hard on men, wants to come down so hard on fathers who are put in the system. You know what the system is, the child support hustle. They're quickly put on a child support hustle. That system, they're modern day slaves. They're being locked up, and so one, they're getting hit 2 times, a double whammy. One, they only get to see their children, their own biological child, for 4 days out of the month, and 2 is they have to pay. They had to cough up their hard-earned money in this legalized transfer of wealth. So not only when their child is with them, they got to pay money, but also when their child is not with them, they got to pay money to the mothers who claim to be single mothers. No, you put your man in the system because you wanted to get him out of your child's life so you can have the child to yourself. And in the case of Save James of Texas, the Save James Facebook page of Texas, is manipulate that child so the child can. I'm talking a little too much right now. I'll save that for another video. But in the meantime, is again, Ask the question why. Because a lot of people will just be offended by that. Because they don't want to have to think too much. Oh man, you causing me to think too much. Good. Until next time.